really important.
So let's talk about switching banks, changing email address, and multiple business owners once the loan is approved. SBA, pat yourself on the back. Meanwhile, there are tens of thousands, if not millions of people like you folks out there who have not been approved yet on a basic EIDL loan, which is a tax return and a credit report. It ain't rocket science, and it's fifth grade arithmetic. I gather this data from working on hundreds and hundreds of interactions with SBA, on files, on documents, on conversations with SBA, countless interactions for nearly 2 years, combined with my experience as a loan officer. This makes sense. This does not make sense.
Right.
I would say no.
Whoa. I just commented and said if they ask for it, submit it.
Not for a 12-month business plan. They're not going to read it. They don't need it. They should be saying to you, give us the 3501, 3502. Submit that, because listen, the idiot asking you for the business plan probably doesn't even have your file anymore. That's the other thing the SBA does. I've never seen anything like this in 30 years in the lending business, that the person processing the file, it gets taken away from them all the time. And apparently there's like all kinds of people touching files. I've been told internally that we have all these teams that do different aspects of review, fraud alert, 4506T, and this, that, and the other thing. What's the phrase? Too many chefs? You can change the banking information. 2 methods that I recommend. Number 1 is preparing a letter, not an email, a letter that you sign and date, has your header at the top, your name, business name, address, EIN number, phone number, email address, everything we tell you to do in our roadmap. To whom may concern, I have changed banks. Cite the reason, keep it simple. The bank was charging me too many fees, or the bank was merged. This has happened a lot also in the last 2 years. Banks have been buying out other banks. Herein, please find my updated bank information. Please update my EIDL file accordingly, and then put in name of bank, name on account, routing number, and account number. Include a voided check, or download from your banking website your PDF direct deposit instructions, which shows a voided check on it and shows the routing number and everything. Send that in to disaster customer service at sba.gov. As a redundancy, complete SBA Form 3501, which is an application. And the purpose of 3501 is to allow you to amend or correct any information on your original SBA application, such as you've changed your address, changed your bank account, you've changed your email address, etc. So use 3501 as a redundancy and send that form, signed and dated, to pdcrecons@sba.gov. So you've got 2 ways of telling SBA that you've changed your bank account. Same with your email. We have a couple of situations where people hired criminals in the early days to get their loans, and now they've hired us to get the reconsiderations. They have no access to the previous email because the criminals have taken their money, a lot of money, and have not responded in giving them access to that email address. And we know that SBA sends emails to the original email address on your original EIDL application. Same methodology. Write a letter. I no longer have access to this email address. Don't go into the reasons why. They don't know. They don't care. They don't need to know. Say, please add this new email address to my file, and include that. Send that to disaster customer service at sba.gov. And again, redundancy. Fill out SBA Form 3501 and do the same thing. Put the email address where appropriate on the form, but then in page 11, the addendum, write the same thing you wrote in the letter. Just copy and paste whatever's in the letter into addendum on page 11. And by the way, Percy, just to be clear, a voided check means an actual blank check with the word void written across it, not a check that has already been cashed or that you wrote to yourself and you write void. It must be blank and the word void.
Well, when you say blank, it has your name of your business on it, or your name,
or your name
if you're a sole proprietor.